Night, she abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it is
Nobody expected this to come out the way it did. One quiet comment, one unexpected moment, and suddenly a story that had been whispered behind closed doors for months exploded into the open. When Jalen Rose finally spoke, people realized this wasn't just about a contract ending or a TV host changing jobs. This was about survival. This was about pressure. This was about a woman who felt like she had to run for her life before the system crushed her completely.
He's hosted First Take for 10 years and elevated the show with her grace, her expertise, incomparable kindness. She's been an enormous part of our success for a decade. Not only did she keep me and many others in line, she did it with dignity, class, and kindness, to say the least.
For years, Molly Qerim was the calm face America woke up to every morning. She smiled through chaos. She moderated some of the loudest voices in sports media. She carried herself with grace while sitting between egos that could fill a stadium. But behind that polished image was a storm nobody on the outside truly saw. And when her sudden exit from ESPN's First Take finally happened, fans were confused, shocked, and desperate for answers. Then, Jalen Rose dropped a line that changed everything. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't dance around the truth. He said Molly didn't just leave, she ran. And once those words hit the internet, people started asking the real question. What was happening behind the scenes that made one of ESPN's most respected hosts feel like escaping was the only option left?
We'll miss her and wish her every blessing on her future. I personally am grateful to her for her friendship.
To understand why Molly Qerim walked away the way she did, you have to go back long before the headlines, long before the rumors, and long before Jalen Rose finally spoke.
Molly is a friend. Molly is a coworker. Molly is somebody that I have leaned on many occasions in the past, as she has done when it comes to me.
Molly Qerim didn't just fall into her role at ESPN. Her journey was built on years of hard work, discipline, and sacrifice. She wasn't handed a golden microphone or fast-tracked because of hype. She earned every inch of her career through long nights, small roles, and proving herself over and over in an industry that doesn't always make space for women to lead. When she officially took over as the permanent host of First Take, it wasn't just a promotion, it was a statement. She stepped into a pressure cooker where every word was analyzed, every facial expression became a meme, and every moment could turn into controversy. Sitting between Stephen A. Smith and a rotating cast of strong personalities wasn't easy. It required patience, authority, and emotional intelligence. And Molly had all of that. She didn't need to scream to be heard. She didn't need theatrics to command respect. She controlled the room with calm energy, sharp timing, and a steady presence that kept the show from spiraling into chaos.
We're partners on the show for the last 10 years. And a lot of times, some of these things happen, and it's just uncomfortable to see. The details, quite frankly, are none of y'all business.
Viewers trusted her, the network relied on her, and for a long time, it seemed like she had found her permanent place. But what fans saw on camera was only half the story. Off camera, the pressure was constant. Live television every morning, no room for mistakes, no bad days allowed, no emotional breaks. And as the show grew bigger, the expectations grew heavier. Molly wasn't just hosting a show anymore, she was holding together a billion-dollar brand every single morning. Then, life added another layer: health struggles, personal challenges, and emotional exhaustion that couldn't be ignored. Yet, she kept showing up. She kept smiling, she kept doing her job while quietly carrying weight that would have broken a lot of people.
We have to move on as a show. I don't like it, I'm not happy about it, because I appreciate her and what she has meant to me, what she has meant to the show, what she has meant to the network, what she's meant to the business. And I'm gonna miss her.
What nobody expected was how fast everything would unravel once contract talks, power dynamics, and respect came into play. Here's where the story takes a turn that made people uncomfortable. As First Take became ESPN's most powerful morning show, the gap between on-air recognition and behind-the-scenes reality became impossible to ignore. Stephen A. Smith's star continued to rise, and with it came massive contracts, expanded influence, and undeniable leverage. Meanwhile, Molly remained the steady backbone of the show, but many insiders felt her value wasn't being reflected the same way.
We could talk about me being the star of my daily television show. We could talk about the contributors that have been stars as well. We can even talk about me doing this show right.
This wasn't about jealousy. This wasn't about competition. It was about balance. And according to whispers inside the industry, that balance no longer existed. Jalen Rose, someone who knows how ESPN operates from the inside, hinted that Molly was dealing with far more than viewers realized. When he said she ran for life, it wasn't meant as drama. It was a warning, a signal that the environment had become emotionally draining, professionally suffocating, and mentally unsafe for someone who had already given so much.
Everybody aspiring to be their own boss and make their own decisions. But in the end, we all have people to answer to. And I know this subject is piggybacking off of what has transpired with Molly's abrupt resignation per se. But it is important to point out that guess what?
Contract negotiations reportedly became tense. Conversations about respect, role clarity, and future vision didn't go the way many expected. And when someone feels unheard in a system that thrives on their presence, the damage cuts deep. What nobody expected was how suddenly everything ended. One day she was there, guiding debates like she always had. The next, she was gone. No long goodbye, no victory lap, just a carefully worded message that felt polite on the surface, but heavy underneath. That's when speculation exploded.
Fans noticed what wasn't said. Colleagues chose their words carefully, and Stephen A. Smith, usually fearless with opinions, suddenly became guarded. He spoke with respect, but also restraint, the kind that suggests there's more he can't say out loud. Then Jalen Rose stepped in and said what others wouldn't. According to him, Molly didn't walk away because she wanted a new challenge. She walked away because staying would have cost her peace, her health, her sense of self. And in an industry that often rewards endurance over humanity, choosing yourself can look like running to those who don't understand. But here's the twist nobody expected. Molly's departure didn't just expose behind-the-scenes tension, it forced ESPN to confront how fragile their success really was. Ratings dipped, chemistry felt off. Guest hosts rotated, but something was missing. That calm authority, that grounding presence, the glue that held everything together. Viewers started realizing just how much Molly had been carrying. Without her, the show felt louder but less balanced, more chaotic, less human. Behind the scenes, her exit sparked uncomfortable conversations about pay gaps, gender dynamics, and emotional labor. About who gets rewarded for being loud versus who gets overlooked for keeping things running smoothly. And while Molly stayed mostly silent, her silence spoke volumes. She didn't need to expose anyone. She didn't need to drag the network. Her decision alone said everything. The emotional toll of that choice wasn't small. Walking away from something you helped build is painful. Leaving a platform that defined your public identity is terrifying. But sometimes survival demands sacrifice. Friends close to Molly hinted that the weight she carried had been building for years. The stress wasn't just professional, it seeped into her personal life, her health, and her sense of safety. Running wasn't weakness, it was instinct. And that's why Jalen Rose's words hit so hard, because they reframed the narrative. This wasn't a woman quitting, this was a woman protecting herself. The ripple effects continue to unfold. ESPN is still searching for stability, fans are still debating what really happened, and Molly Qerim remains a symbol of quiet strength in an industry that rarely slows down to protect the people holding it together. In the end, this story isn't just about Molly, it's about what happens when loyalty meets limits, when professionalism collides with self-preservation, when someone realizes that no amount of success is worth losing yourself. Jalen Rose didn't reveal gossip, he revealed a truth many are afraid to admit. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't staying and fighting. Sometimes it's knowing when to leave before the damage becomes permanent. Molly Qerim didn't lose her place in media, she reclaimed her life. And as more details slowly surface, one thing becomes clearer by the day. She didn't run away from something, she ran toward something better. And that's a story that's far from over.